I have a story for you that is so heartbreaking and dramatic. This is about the day my family was completely shattered by a secret that had been buried for years. It all happened right after my grand's funeral in a small town in Nebraska. My gran, who was the heart of our family, passed away. We were all sad, but we had so many good memories. A few days after the funeral, we all gathered at the lawyer's office for the reading of her will. The mood was somber, but we were all there for each other. We expected her estate to be divided equally among her 3 children, my dad, my aunt, and my uncle, Mark. Mark was the golden child, a success in everything, and the one my grandmother always seemed to favor. The lawyer started reading, and everything was going as expected, until he got to the part about the inheritance. My dad and aunt were given a small, equal share of the estate, but Mark was given almost everything: the family home, all of the savings, and a large portion of the property. We were all shocked. It seemed so unfair, but we figured my grandmother had her reasons. My dad and aunt were clearly hurt, but they didn't say anything. But then, the lawyer cleared his throat and said there was one more piece of the will that my grandmother had wanted him to read aloud. He said it was a letter she had written herself, and that it contained a special request. The letter was for Mark. The lawyer read the letter aloud, and it said, "Mark, you know the truth. You know what you did. I hope you will use this money to finally make things right." My Uncle Mark went completely pale. The lawyer then pulled out a sealed envelope and said, "Mrs. Stu asked me to give this to your father and your aunt if you ever tried to claim this inheritance." He opened the envelope and took out a DNA test. The results were clear. My Uncle Mark was not my grandfather's son. He was my grandmother's son with another man, a man she had an affair with years ago. My grandfather had always known, and he had raised Mark as his own. But the family was sworn to secrecy. The room went completely silent. My dad and my aunt were in complete shock. Mark, who was supposed to be the perfect son, was a lie. He had been given the money to atone for a sin that was not his own. The whole family dynamic was completely shattered in an instant. My grandfather then got up from the table and walked out of the room. The dinner ended right there. My dad and my uncle got into a huge fight, and my family is still trying to put the pieces back together. My grandparents are dealing with a decades-long lie, and my uncle is trying to find out more about his biological father. It was a complete bombshell that changed our family forever. It taught me that you never really know a person's entire story, and that secrets can tear a family apart. So, yeah, that's the story of the most shocking family dinner ever. Have you ever had a family secret come out in a dramatic way? Tell me your stories in the comments.